Ro Khanna did it. Congrats, Ro Khanna. Look, I never really praise Democrats for anything because they never do anything praiseworthy. You know what I mean? But, you do have to admire their diabolicalness, right? I wish we had some diabolical Republicans, or anybody on our side that was diabolical. You know what I mean? Because Ro Khanna's thing, what Ro Khanna did yesterday was amazing. I think the day before yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, a day or two ago, I made a video on Friday, I think, about Ro Khanna making an amendment that would force a vote in Congress about the release of the Epstein documents, right? Or the Epstein files, whatever you want to call them, right? Every bit of evidence pertaining to Epstein, whether it should be released to the public. Now, I said in my video that I didn't know how long such an amendment would take to go through, and I didn't think it would go through, but it did. And I don't, maybe it didn't take a vote to do it. I don't know. He made it happen. I don't know. It was genius, right? It's genius because he basically just exposed all the Republicans, right? And we needed to see that, right? We needed to see that. So the Epstein thing is a big, contentious fucking problem. It's the biggest fuck up Donald Trump has had in both of his presidencies. And maybe in life itself. You know what I mean? Donald Trump's pretty goddamn successful. He's had a lot of wins in life. I can't imagine that there are fuck ups as big as this one in Donald Trump's past, but maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. He also learned from fuck ups like this. And so Ro Khanna, puts a vote in, or puts an amendment in, that forces this vote. And it happened right away. I didn't know it would. It's amazing. So all the Republicans except one voted against releasing all the Epstein information. Now, there's a caveat to this, right? There is a small caveat to this. Tim Pool talked about this on his show yesterday, or last night, I guess. And I didn't think about this, because when I first heard about this, I was like, yo, what the fuck's going on? How could they all vote against it, right? And Tim Pool made an interesting, not assumption, but he noticed something interesting. See, the wording of the bill says everything, right? Everything. And everything means that also would be the release of the, victim material or child porn material that they have onto their website. And of course, Republicans can't vote for that, right? So was it just a diabolical move to force Republicans, all of them, to also vote no on releasing the Epstein files, even though they know that the Republican base and a lot of people in America really want to see some justice done, even if it's on Epstein's financial crimes, which are clear and obvious, since nobody knows how Epstein made his money. Nobody knows why all of these people paid Epstein millions and millions of dollars, Lex Wexner, etc., just to name it all out. Just do something. And they just said, no, F you, it's nothing there. And the Republicans know that everybody's pissed off about it. You know what I mean? And then they vote all together no. Well, for what reason? Well, maybe it's because of the wording, right? And so the wording says they have to release everything. And so everything would include the material that is actually illegal to release, because illegal to see it also would include victim information, etc., etc. So is that the reason they voted no? Well, we might find out, right? Because all the Democrats just voted yes. So it's like, all right, well, what the fuck? So they do want child porn to be released then? Is that what they're trying to say with this? I don't know. It's confusing. So Ro Khanna has said, apparently, that he's going to make a revised amendment, which will say everything except for like victim stuff or child porn or whatever. You know what I mean? So not everything, but everything that that is legal for the public to view. That's where it's going to come down to, and we'll see. He's going to get this go through, and they're going to have to vote again, and we'll see. We'll see if any Republicans change their tune. Now, because all the Democrats voted yes on it, if the plan was diabolical enough that they purposely wanted to trick the Republicans into voting yes on distributing child porn on the DOJ website, right? Then why did they all vote yes, right? So I don't think that's really was the intention, right? I think the intention was just to force the vote and see how many people are really in support of this in the Republican side. It's masterful, right? It's masterful. Now, I always see the Republican and the Democrats as completely two different animals, right? If you were in a fight, if you're watching a fight, the Democrats come to this fight with guns blazing, fucking hat turned backwards, flamethrowers out, and the Republicans are always fucking out there with a musket that they can't fill because they've got one hand tied behind their back and they're running around going, the Constitution and God's gonna save us, and they get clobbered because it's not the real world, right? It is just not the world we're living in. It's the same thing the woke do and the same thing the left do. They ignore the reality of their situation because it suits them. And that's how Republicans go through life when it comes to Democrats. They are fighting a diabolical monster. It is war. It is not, let's play patty cake behind the scenes and we're really all just good buddies. And, the Democrats, they're all right. No, these Democrats are diabolical. And if you're going to beat them and continue to beat them, you need to be diabolical. You can't play with one hand tied behind your back, thumping a Bible or the Constitution and saying, this is going to save us. We've got God-given rights. There's nothing they can do to us because we've got God-given rights. And the Democrats go, fuck your rights. We're going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? That's how they are. And if our side does not start playing ball on this level, they're going to get hammered. I've said it over and over again. So now, we gonna get a new vote? I guess that's what it looks like. Ro Khanna's gonna make this revised thing. I don't know when they're gonna vote on it. I just heard about it. I'm not even sure if it's really gonna happen. It looks like they're gonna do it. And then we'll see if any of the Republicans change their tune. Let's assume they don't, right? Because I don't think they're gonna, just because the bill is revised. Because there has to be a reason why all of them voted no. I think there was one that voted yes, maybe one, okay? But like 99.9% of them said no to the release, no. So, if that's the, I highly doubt that they're going to allow Ghislaine Maxwell to come to Congress and testify. Even though she offered, she's offering. I don't know if she's offering it with any strings attached or something. They're just not going to go for that. But hey, if Ghislaine Maxwell offers for free, like with no strings, to come to Congress and just tell the story, that's a pretty risky move for her, I think. You know what I mean? But for some reason, she's willing to do it. Maybe for extra protection or release or, whatever the fuck. I don't know. You know what I mean? But if they don't allow that, right? If they want to keep her quiet, then I hope she writes a book. I hope she goes to the media or anything. You know what I'm saying? Something. You know what I mean? But if they don't allow that, then it's clear that they are absolutely covering someone else's ass, right? It's pretty clear already. We already kind of know. You know what I mean? We already kind of know. We don't know for sure, but we pretty much know that they're covering for someone. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just the financial shit. Let's forget about the fucking pedo shit. Let's just go after whoever was giving Jeffrey Epstein money and haul them in and start questioning them like the IRS. and asking him what the fuck that money was for. What service did Jeffrey Epstein provide? And then we assess if that seems reasonable, like they do with everybody else. If you're Joe Blow, yeah, and you all of a sudden went from Fiat Punto to Ferrari, then the fucking IRS and financial division is going to want to know, hey, bro, how'd you get that Ferrari, right? And you go, well, dude gave it to me. Oh, dude gave it to you, did you? Oh, then they go over to dude, and they haul dude into questioning. They say, you're not being arrested. We just want to ask some questions here. You don't have to talk to us. You can get a lawyer, you know? And they go, dude, do you want to tell us why you gave Rob a Ferrari? And dude goes, well, you know, Rob painted my house. And they're like, okay, well, Ferrari's pretty steep for painting a house, right? And then that shit gets investigated. It might take a long time. Why aren't they fucking doing that? You know what I mean? No, it's case closed. So look, guys, let's speculate once again before we close this video down what the reasons could be why the Republicans would vote no on the release, knowing that this could cost them their seat, right? Because a lot of people are pissed off and they're like, okay, well, let's primary all these motherfuckers. And I've said that from the beginning. There's only a handful of Congress people, a representative that you want to keep around, right? The rest have basically shown their stripes, you know what I mean? And they're useless, and they need to go. The Ted Cruz, the old guard has to go. Ted Cruz's and all them shits, they gotta go. They don't represent the way they have to represent these days. They're just not doing it. They're not capable. They're the old guard. They're the boomer generation of fucking politicians that don't know how to maneuver in the new world of internet, podcasting, and being forced to tell the truth. They just can't do it, right? We need politicians that do it. So there's only a couple of reasons that I can come up with, other than we don't want to vote yes on putting child porn on the DOJ website, right? There's only a couple of things I can think of. They have got a call from on high, so Trump called down and said, anybody who fucking votes yes on this is done, right? Now, that seems very weird to me, but I'm sure it happens. Regardless, you have to have the possibility as a representative in Congress to vote your conscience, right? And I'm not talking about voting for what your biggest donor wants over what your people want. I'm talking about voting your conscience. So it can't be that you vote on party lines with everything if it goes against your conscience and you don't want to vote that way. I don't imagine that every Republican in the Congress is that much of a jellyfish that Big Don can call down and say, you're going to fucking vote this way or else. Because now there's caught in a... Because if Trump's threatening to... Let's say Trump called all of them and said, look, if you do it, if you vote yes on this, I will primary each and every one of you fuckers. Right? All right? Well, that's scary for them. But what about the voters? Most of the voters are going to want this shit out. Right? Most of the voters are now going to be pissed off that all of these Congress people voted no. And you can find out who voted no and who voted yes on the congressional website, I'm sure. I think those votes are public. I think those votes are open. I don't think it's a closed vote, but it could be. You know what I mean? Either way, it's pretty much all of them except one, I think. So you'll figure it out. I don't think it's Trump calling down and saying, shut the fuck up. And if it is, these people are so weak, they need to go anyway. Then if that's the reason, they also still need to go. Right? The only reason that's plausible and that can be accepted is if they come out and go, look, the vote was for releasing everything, and we know we can't release everything, and so we voted no. Well, all the Democrats voted yes, though. You know what I'm saying? So then they can turn it around on the Democrats and say, but they want the world to get child porn on the DOJ website. See, they all voted yes for it. So, but I don't, you know what I mean? So, no, I don't think that it's Trump calling down. I don't think it's because of this possibility that child porn would be released, because of course it never will. I think that's just an excuse. It was a good point by Tim Pool, but I don't think that's the case. I think if it comes up for a vote again, I think they will again vote no. And then they're going to want to pretend that this never fucking happened, right? This vote never happened, that nobody knows about it. It's just some secret thing they did in Congress. Nobody except them and the Democrats know. Because what are they going to do? What is their fucking explanation going to be? They're going to have to justify it at some point to somebody. You know what I mean? What kind of fucking excuse are they going to come up with? I can't wait to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I really can't. It's going to be pretty good. It's got to be good. Right? It's got to be good. It's got to be a better lie than the last 10,000 lies. You know what I mean? It really does. Otherwise, they're going to fall through their own bullshit. They're going to fall. Right? And they might get primary anyway. I think they should be. So, I don't know. It's all pretty weird, but it was a fantastic, diabolical, and much to be respected move by Khanna. I have a little bit more respect for Khanna now. You know, not that I agree with anything the guy says, does, or wants, except for this one thing where I'm like, hey, that was fucking great. You know what I mean? Because now we've exposed these people for who they really are. They are on the side of the government, not on the side of the people. They're proving it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Now, I'm not going to say that for everybody in the administration of Trump, right? That probably is not the case. But the Congress, the Republican Congress, they're essentially fucking useless. Okay, they got this bill through. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-fucking-do. They got it through. Trump needed it. Great. It has a lot of shit in there nobody wants, nobody needs. You know what I mean? But Trump got the money he needed for the funding he needed for the deportations, which is very important. So, all right. You know what I'm saying? We'll take what we can get, right? And some other good things, you know, a little bit no tax on tips, a little bit no tax on overtime. I know there's caveats and, you know, all kinds of things, you know. I don't know. Congress hasn't codified one fucking Doge cut. Congress hasn't fucking codified one of Donald Trump's fucking executive orders. They've done nothing against the rogue judges, the rogue legal system. Yeah, they have all these hearings and meetings where people still come in and lie to their fucking face, and they still get away with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But this is going to damage the shit even more. So we'll see if Khanna gets his next vote, right? The next amendment go through so that the bill is clarified a little bit more. Like, okay, everything documents no victims, no child porn. And I'm just chomping at the bit to hear what the Republicans have to say for themselves on this. You know what I'm saying? What is your justification for this shit? Uh-huh. You know what I mean? I know people are speculating that now, every one of these Republicans must be involved. I don't think that's it. I think it's more along the lines, there is somebody or something or some people more powerful than the people in the American government, right? Or has extreme influence on the people in the American government, so much so that they can make this go away and they can make everybody get in line. And how they do it, I don't know. I can come up with a bunch of things that I think they're probably doing to make it happen, but I can't prove any one of them, so I'm not going to speculate too much on it. You know what I mean? But, you know, let your imagination run wild here. Something is causing everybody in the government, the whole thing, right, to turn their backs on this Epstein thing real fucking quick and try to get rid of it as fast as they can. And it's causing stress and pressure that it's not working. It's not working. Donald Trump is pissed off because he can't go up and go, shut up about Epstein and look at all the things that are good. You know what I mean? Shut up. Don't talk about it anymore. That's not going to work, Donald Trump. You know, sorry, bro. I support him 100%. You know what I'm saying? I think I say it over and over again. I will admit he is the best president we have ever had in my lifetime. For sure. Hands down. No doubt. But he can't use that respect and trust and the votes from me anyway to say, you will shut up about everything I tell you to and praise everything I say that you have to praise. And that's the way we roll in the MAGA group movement. No, that can't be right. I know some people roll like that, like Catcher, who I had some respect for. Now, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's these people out there that will say and do whatever they have to try to keep the peace within MAGA and the glue together. I get it. These people do not want Democrats to ever be voted for again. I don't either. It's going to be a big mistake. You know what I mean? It's going to be better, and this sucks to say, but you might as well you better have a lame ass, no spine, pussy, hands tied behind his back trying to fucking fill a musket and fire it, Republican, than you can any one of these diabolical evil Democrats, because the leftism is a fucking disease that needs to be crushed, right? It has ruined everything it's touched. The policies don't work. The people are delusional. They live outside of reality, and it's across the board in every country. It's the same mentality of people. You can see them. You can see they are different. They can't have power again. But, you know, I can see where people are like, yo, with these Republicans, dude, you know what I mean? And I get it. The influencers out there want to keep that glue together as much as they can. They want to try and ignore anything bad or negative about the Trump administration. 100%. They're constantly trying to spin. And I get why they're doing it. But you can't do that, bro. You can't just let the Trump administration get away with every shit. You know, they're doing great things. They're also doing not so great things. It's just the nature of the beast. But you don't just go, well, let me just shut up about all the negative things because I don't want to break the glue. No, people have to start, once again, thinking for themselves, not thinking because some podcaster or some Twitter agent fucking told them what to think, right? People need to start seeing the things that everybody's saying, putting them together in their own head, and coming to a logical conclusion on their own. And not being glued to one team or another. That's what got us to this fucking place in the first place. So, let's see what happens. It's gonna be weird, right? It's gonna be fucking weird to see if the Republicans all again vote no on releasing the Epstein stuff. And it's also gonna be interesting to see if they're going to allow Ghislaine Maxwell to testify. And my advice to Ghislaine Maxwell is, if they say no, then do a blowout interview with one of the major podcasters, Joe Rogan, whatever, if possible. I'm sure they'll let Joe Rogan into their jail. I can't imagine why not. You know what I mean? You know, fucking or something. Do something. Blow it out no matter what they say in Congress. You know what I mean? Blow it out. You've got nothing to lose. You're 63, you're in prison until you're 83. Fucking hell. You know what I mean? Just make sure you get some protection and fucking blow that shit, blow the lid off that shit. That's what I would say to Ghislaine Maxwell. And look, do we really think that Ghislaine Maxwell is lying? Do you think, what would be her incentive now to come risk her life and to come out and start talking now? What is the incentive for her to do it? You know what I mean? I think, why would she lie? You know what I mean? Why would she be lying? So, it's going to be interesting times coming up, people. We'll see. But Khanna, fucking congrats. That was a great move. Why don't we ever see any moves like that from the Republicans? I mean, dude. Anyway, guys, that was the Insanity Report for Wednesday, the 16th of July, 2025. It's now 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next Insanity Report. Peace out.